hang with me up here. Tell me what you gotta say.
My name is Mary of Magdala. I was one of the disciples of Jesus. I was present at the crucifixion, and I was the first person that he appeared to after the resurrection.
Ah, bitch got clout!
I was one of the founders of the Christian faith, and I was known for my ability in times of distress to be able to turn the apostles' heart to the good.
The good!
Now, some people think I was a whore.
Misogynistic bitches.
Other people think that Jesus was my husband.
What? Feminotic bitches!
I was not a whore.
Pimped up, hoes down!
I was an unmarried woman from a town of ill repute.
Ill repute!
And I was also not the wife of Jesus.
Still love ya.
But I do think that I was his best friend. We shared an intimacy that I cannot put into words except to say that we saw into each other's souls and we fell in love with what we found.
Love.
I also knew Judas Iscariot very well.
Thanks.
Of all of the 12, he was the most moody, the most impetuous, and yet he was my favorite.
Tupac.
You know, in some ways, I think he was Jesus' favorite too. He was almost the alter ego to Jesus. You know, he was the shadow to Jesus' light. He was the sour to the sweet, the cool to the warm. You know, I would often see them walking together more often than not, arguing. God, nobody could get a rise out of Jesus like Judas could. I can remember him emerging from an argument, positively furious, like shaking his head, clicking his teeth, red-faced with exasperation, and he would come and tell me what they'd been fighting about, still agitated, and yet, inevitably, he would end off staring into space, sighing, smiling. You know, if someone were to say that Judas was good for Jesus, I don't think they would be wrong.
Not mistaken. Mm-hmm.
But when I think of Judas, my heart breaks.
But Mary Mags, if we are all eternal, and if human life is only the first mile in a billion, do you honestly believe God could abandon any motherfucker so soon in the journey?
I don't know. He never talks about it. And that's how I know his heart hurts worse than mine.
Next witness.
Defense calls Sigmund Freud, Your Honor. Name?
Dr. Sigismund Shlomo Freud.
Dr. Freud, would it be accurate to say you qualify as an expert in the field of modern psychiatry?
I am. Fraulein, I am modern psychiatrist.
Objection! The witness is boasting.
Overruled.
But to bolster your eminence, really it is distasteful.
Sit down, El Fayoumy.
I lunge to obey you, your grace, but let the record reflect that the prosecution has grave reservations as to this man's so-called standing as a psychiatric expert.
Perhaps if we jaunt to London for a leisurely perusal of the standard edition of the complete psychological works of Sigmund Freud, volumes 1 to 24 would set your mind at ease.
Perhaps it would, if you are indeed well, okay, carry on. Yes.
Dr. Freud, you are in fact the founder of psychoanalysis, correct?
I am.
You maintained a private practice in neuropathology for nearly a half century, is that not so?
It is.
You were on the cover of Time magazine in an issue dedicated to the greatest scientific minds of the 20th century.
I was.
Are you familiar with the case history of one Judas Iscariot?
Oh, most certainly.
Dr. Freud, in your expert opinion, can a suicide victim be pre-certified as psychotic?
Without question. Man's instinct for self-preservation is his most supple and reflexive muscle. When that muscle fails, it is because the mind has failed. A decision to take one's own life can only be precipitated by a failure of the mind. An irrational rebellion against one's most basic instinct to endure and live. Therefore, death, a victim of suicide must be pre-certified as indeed psychotic.
In your expert opinion, Dr. Freud, was Judas Iscariot a psychotic?
Most certainly.
And are psychotics responsible for their actions?
No.
betraying Jesus of Nazareth, or was he mentally ill to begin with?
Reprogrammed. Yes, you must understand. Normal people do not kill themselves, even under extreme duress.
And what would you say to people who would say that Judas brought about his own mental illness by betraying Jesus and getting him crucified?
I would say this. Nummer eins, you cannot conjure or bring about mental illness. Nummer eins, zwei, any god who punishes the mentally ill isn't worth being worshipped. And nummer drei, an ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure. The one who could have prevented this tragedy was Jesus, not Judas. He chose not to.
But isn't Judas responsible because he did what he did of his own free will?
Fraulein, I once had a suicidal patient leap through my fourth floor window to her death. She exercised her free will. Did I bill her estate for the broken plate glass window she left through? Of course not. My friend, Winston Churchill, who provided me safe haven from the Nazis in 1938, likes to say,
The price of greatness is responsibility.
I believe firmly in taking responsibility. So, after the unfortunate woman's death, I exercised responsibility for my greatness by moving my offices to the ground floor. I should think God would have done the same.
You're a witness?
Yes, Dr. Freud, sorry for the mix-up before. So, Herr Doctor, I must admit I am intimidated to be in your considerable presence. After all, you are a genius, correct?
Correct.
An expert?
Yes.
A big brain?
Unequivocally.
Yes, unequivocally. Nice word, and it rolls off your tongue so effortlessly. A little tired, are we today, Doctor? Well, perhaps a kilo or two of fine-grade Bolivian flake would put some pep in your step.
Excuse me?
Cocaine, Doctor. Oh, flake, rock. She don't lie, do she, Doctor?
But?
Over a 12-year span, you consumed cocaine in what can only be categorized as prodigiously massive quantities, correct?
As part of my research, yes.
Research, yes. And after 12 years of round-the-clock research, you came to the conclusion that ingesting staggering amounts of powder through your nose was perhaps unhealthy?
I was trying to determine its medicinal value.
Is that your real nose?
Your mother denied you her breast, didn't she?
I'll take you to let me ask the questions, Dr. Freud! Freud! Yes, Freud. I made a you slip, didn't I? Dr. Freud, one last question. You were an avowed atheist your entire life, correct?
Correct.
And then you died and found out what?
I experienced anti-Semitism as a child. It prejudiced me against all religions.
Einstein experienced prejudice, but he wasn't wrong like you, was he? My cousin Wogwee can't count to 10 without drooling, but he wasn't wrong like you, was he? Was he?
Intelligence and faith are two different things.
Really, Doctor, because I believe that you cannot have one without the other. But then again, I'm not a brilliant, genius, expert like you!
I had a wonderful, vibrant mind, and my intellectual curiosity was boundless.
Good day, Doctor! Go blow your nose! You are excused!
Dr. Freud, do sane people commit suicide, yes or no?
No, though they can sometimes be tempted
To murder! To murder an 8-ball, egghead!
That's enough. Next witness. Next witness.
Irresistibly alluring majesty, a prosecution now calls legendary Beatle and criminally underrated drummer Ringo Starr to the stand!
Ringo Starr is not dead.
Oh, really? Well, thank God for that, right? In that case, prosecution now calls Caiaphas the Elder, high priest of the Sanhedrin, to the stand.
Right. Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, at this time, I must excuse myself from these proceedings until such time that said witness has concluded testimony. Before his ascension into the lap of the Lord, Caiaphas the Elder and I were partners in a successful chain of kosher pizza parlors in the East Purgatory. For that reason, at this time, I must step down. Bailiff, get your ass over there, put on those glasses, and adjudicate. Pronto.
So tell me, Jay, shall we commence?
That'd be good.
Wise Jay, prosecution now calls Caiaphas the Elder. Caiaphas the Elder, high priest of the Sanhedrin. Hello to you.
Hello.
Shalom, as it were. Hello. Caiaphas the Elder, perhaps you can clear something up for me. Is there a Caiaphas the Younger?
No.
And yet you are the Elder?
Yes.
I see. My cousin Angawaba owes me $5 now. Caiaphas the Elder, it says in the Bible that Judas made an approach to you, a dark and nefarious approach about turning over the location of Jesus Christ and to in fact turn him over to you and to the Roman authorities, correct?
Correct.
Caiaphas the Elder, are you saying that it was Judas Iscariot who approached you and not the other way around?
Yes.
Because I saw in a film once, Caiaphas the Elder, where it was you who approached him.
It was Judas Iscariot who approached me, not the other way around.
Yes, but still, I must ask you, even though your statement is indeed confirmed by all 4 Gospels, did you approach Judas Iscariot about betraying his leader and the Messiah, Jesus of Nazareth?
No, I did not.
Why not? Jesus was a big headache to you, right? You were legitimately concerned that the hijinks of Jesus would lead to an uprising and a crushing Roman massacre and retribution of your Jewish people, correct?
I was concerned, yes.
Why not reach out and touch someone, Caiaphas the Elder?
Are you asking me why I didn't approach one of the apostles initially?
Yes.
I didn't think it would work.
Why not?
There is an old rabbinical saying, let them kill you, but do not cross the line. During my 18-year reign as head of the Sanhedrin and guardian of the temple, I dealt with countless messiahs, zealots, rebels, and fanatical believers. My experience in these matters taught me. They get killed, yes, but as a rule, they do not cross the line.
Crossing the line. This means what exactly?
To betray your ideals, your conscience, the law.
Judas crossed the line, didn't he?
He did.
He betrayed the ideal in betraying Jesus, the rabbinical ideal. He
Yes.
crossed the line.
Yes.
Do you admire this?
No, I do not.
Why not? I mean, we all cross the line sometimes, don't we?
We are all capable of crossing the line. Thankfully, we do not all do it.
But still, Caiaphas the Elder, what's the big deal? You cross the line, you just draw yourself another line, correct?
No, not correct.
Why not?
The line comes from God, doesn't it? The line is given. We do not create it, and thus it is not ours to modify. It is only ours to obey or betray.
Ah, yes. I see. Caiaphas the Elder, when Pontius Pilate first arrived in Judea, he approached you in the temple, did he not?
He did.
And as a show of Roman force and authority, he had his soldiers put up Roman symbols all over your temple, desecrating your holy place of worship, correct?
Correct?
It would have constituted a worshipping of false idols, correct?
Yes.
When you saw Pontius Pilate attempting this, what did you do?
I told him that he must remove the pagan symbols.
And what did Pilate say to that?
I believe the gist of his reply was, what are you going to do about it, Curly?
And what did you do?
I knelt before him.
And groveled for forgiveness?
No.
Begged for mercy?
No. I removed my headdress, bared my throat to him, and bade him slit it.
In other words, Caiaphas the Elder, you let him kill you, but you did not cross the line.
I guess not. I guess so.
And so Judas, he crossed the line, didn't he?
He did.
And by the way, what was the result of your standoff with Pilate at the temple?
Pilate backed off.
He took down the Roman symbols?
Yes.
You held the line?
Yes.
Your integrity castrated him, Caiaphas the Elder? His little Roman balls rolling down the temple hill like withered purple grapes? Correct?
I have no response.
As well you should. Caiaphas the Elder, one last question. It is said in Western culture the most prized virtue is honesty, whereas in Eastern culture, which would include Judea at the time, in Eastern culture, the most valued virtue is loyalty. Do you agree with said hypothesis?
Counselor, there are 613 sacred laws in our Torah. Complying with these laws requires honesty and loyalty. But the most important requirement of the law is obedience to it. That is what is most prized.
Yes, but But in your opinion, was Judas Iscariot loyal?
Obviously not.
Was he honest?
No.
Was Judas Iscariot obedient?
To his own will and desires, yes, I believe that he was.
And to service those will and those desires, Judas Iscariot crossed the line.
He served a necessary purpose, but as a fellow Jew, I confess he disgusted me.
Caiaphas the Elder, I thank you. And I must say, you are much more handsome in person than they portray you on the silver screen.
High priest of the Sanhedrin. That was an extremely powerful and prestigious position in Judea, correct?
Correct.
In fact, except for the Roman governor and King Herod, the high priest was, in actuality, the most powerful position in Judea, was it not?
Yes.
Caiaphas, would you mind looking in the eye when you respond to a question?
My position was very important. As high priest, I maintained the sacred laws, the safety of the populace, and our tradition.
Caiaphas, is there a reason you won't meet my gaze? Or is ignoring women simply another component of the tradition you were charged to maintain?
Objection, Your Honor. The witness is not only a holy man, but a very holy man. Defense counsel is aware that she is a juicy, opportunist dish, and the witness is being berated for merely attempting to avoid the salacious temptations of her intoxicatingly firm and fervently aromatic flesh. I move to censure, really.
I withdraw the question.
Sexy vixen, you are warned. Yes, and she makes my organs bounce. Sorry. Yes.
Caiaphas, you stated to the prosecution that Judas Iscariot crossed the line and that he disgusted you, correct?
Correct.
Well, then maybe you can help me out here because I'm a little confused. Judas Iscariot handed Jesus of Nazareth over to you, correct?
Yes,
And then you handed Jesus of Nazareth over to Pontius Pilate, correct?
I did.
So what exactly is the difference between you and Judas Iscariot? Because unless I'm missing something here, I failed to see it.
Between me and Judas, big difference.
Caiaphas, you were a rabbi and a Jew. Jesus was a rabbi and a Jew. Is it not crossing the line for one rabbi to hand over another rabbi to be killed by pagans?
Jesus was a blasphemous, seditious rabbi, and I did not know for sure that he would be killed.
But the penalty for sedition was crucifixion, correct?
That was the Roman charge, not mine.
Yes, your charge was blasphemy. And what was the penalty for blasphemy, Caiaphas?
Your Honor, I will not sit here and be blamed for the death of Christ yet again.
And no one is blaming you for the death of Christ, Caiaphas. I'm simply asking you a question which I am directing you now to answer before this court. You charged Jesus with blasphemy. What was the penalty for blasphemy, Caiaphas?
Stoning, followed by hanging.
So then how can you sit there and pretend that you didn't know for sure that Jesus of Nazareth would be killed?
Jesus could have easily saved himself
Saved himself how?
by retracting his blasphemous claims. Our Torah has 613 sacred laws. I can't even count how many Jesus broke or treated with wanton disregard and disdain. He broke the laws that came from the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. He violated the word of God. He violated the laws of Moses. He consorted with the unclean and women and prostitutes. He performed miracles on the Sabbath. He proclaimed himself Messiah. He forgave sin. Who was he to forgive sin? Only God can do that. If that's not crossing the line, then I don't know what is.
Jesus was fulfilling your Old Testament prophecies of Isaiah to the letter.
He was also fulfilling the prophecies in Deuteronomy, which warned against false messiahs and marvel workers. It would have been one thing had he confined himself to the forests and rivers, spouting his ravings as the Baptist did. But at the great temple, I would have been derelict not to put a stop to it. He was whipping people, kicking them, threatening to destroy the temple, calling it a den of thieves. If someone did that in your St. Patrick's Cathedral, would you not arrest them?
And yet, Judas Iscariot, who came forward in the face of this great threat, is in your eyes not a patriot, but a traitor. A traitor who, in your words, disgusted you. Why is that, Caiaphas?
Because he handed Jesus over for money.
And why did you hand Jesus over, Caiaphas?
The words and deeds of Jesus were leading towards rebellion. God, we are all the same.
But how about in the eyes of the common Jewish man? You were seen as an aristocrat, weren't you?
I came from wealth.
Would you say you were popular with the common Jewish man?
My job was a sacred one, not a popularity contest.
The high temple taxes you inflicted on your people, would you say that made you more popular with the common Jewish man or less popular?
Objection, Your Honor. Vixen is badgering.
The exchange rates at the temple were also extremely unfavorable to the common Jewish man. And the purification pools outside the temple where the common Jewish man was required by law to be cleansed before being permitted to enter the temple, the purification pools were not free either, were they?
Cunningham.
No. I'll answer. The laws were the laws, and the rates were the rates.
And did you have a sliding scale for the poor?
No.
So the poor, who constituted a large percentage of the common Jewish man at that time, remained impure and unclean and were denied the right of worship.
You've made your point.
No, I don't think I have. Your position, Caiaphas, did not require you to be popular with the common Jewish man, did it?
My position required me to answer to God.
Did God appoint you high priest of the Sanhedrin?
It was with God's blessing
It
that...
was with Rome's blessing, Caiaphas. You were appointed by Rome. And at the end of the day, for the 18 years you served, that is who you had to answer to, and that is who you were required to be popular with. And the day you showed Rome that you couldn't handle your own people was the day you would have been thrown out on your ass. Isn't that true?
I belonged to God, not Rome. My job was to uphold the 613 sacred laws and to protect my temple and my people. That's what I did.
And was not Jesus of Nazareth one of your people, Caiaphas? Whether he was a Messiah or a prophet or a holy man or a crazy man, was he not one of your own? And was it not considered the height of treachery to betray Jewish blood to your oppressors? Come on, Caiaphas. Tell us that it did not prick your conscience to turn Jesus, a fellow Jew, over to the Romans. Tell us that handing over a fellow rabbi to his certain death at the hands of the enemy did not violate your sense of crossing the line and your knowledge of the law. Tell us that at the end of the day there is a difference in the eyes of God between what you did and what Judas did. This is purgatory, Caiaphas. I've got all day.
In terms of result, no difference.
How about in terms of follow through? Judas recanted and tried to return the silver, did he not?
He did.
And did you, Caiaphas, do anything at all to try to prevent Jesus' death?
No.
And therein lies the real difference between you and Judas Iscariot, does it not? And yet you sit here and say that Judas crossed the line and that he disgusted you. If that's true, Caiaphas, I have to wonder how you must have felt about yourself.
That's between me and God.
Well, then for your sake, Caiaphas, I sure hope your God has a more forward-thinking attitude than Judas's God does. Step down, you're excused.
Caiaphas the elder, Judas approached you, did he not?
Yes.
He didn't have to approach you, did he?
No.
And yet he did.
Yes.
Of his own free will.
Yes.
And accepted payment for his betrayal.
Yes.
Payment. He did not say, Mr. Caiaphas, this one is on the arm, correct?
Correct.
Caiaphas the elder, I think we all understand the precarious position you were put into by the Roman authority.
And it makes you feel good to say that, doesn't it? After 2,000 years of persecution and vilification, you finally get around to saying, hey, we know it wasn't you and your people's fault. Is that it?
Caiaphas the elder, I was merely trying to...
Just to win your case, right? I tell you what, you people call me, I come. You question, I answer. But please, never say that you realize the position I was in, because you have no idea the position I was in. And never try to excuse or forgive me, because I'm not interested in your forgiveness. God's forgiveness, this interests me. Yours, I could care less. Why? Because you have no idea. The people who need forgiving, the people who perpetrated the lies and exaggerations that became sacrosanct fact and led to hatred and violence for the past 2,000 years, they are the ones who need forgiving. And not by you, but by me. Me and my people. It's the writers of the gospel who need forgiveness, not me.
Last Supper, I was the first one to say, I would die for Jesus. And I was also the first one to run for the hills doing 90 when the Romans came and arrested him. And when he resurrected himself, I was also the one who said I wouldn't believe who he said he was until I could see with my own eyes the holes in his hands. Personally inspect them, touch them, like I was some kind of medical examiner, like Quincy or something. But the thing of it was, Jesus showed them to me. Not only that, he let me touch them. In a ministry based entirely on the virtues of faith, he gave me proof. I had no faith, and he gave it to me for free. I don't know why I got the benefit of my doubt, and Judas didn't get any help with his. And I'm not saying this because I like the guy, because personally I think the guy's a bit of a jerk-off. Actually, fucking dick is more accurate. See, the thing with Judas is, at least with me, it's like 1 minute he's your friend, and the next he's just making fun of you in front of everybody. Like, he used to like to say Jesus had to do the miracle of the loaves and the fishes, because I ate all the food when no one was looking. Stuff like that. But then other times, he'd be real nice. Like, oh, one time we were partnered together to go into town and cast out demons and heal people, and I was having some problems that day. Everyone I tried to heal ended up getting worse. Actually, this one lady I almost blinded, and this other guy started going into convulsions. But Judas fixed it. He healed them. He really did. And that tells me his faith was genuine. And when we got back to camp that night, he didn't tell anyone that I messed up. Actually, he said I did a good job. And I appreciated that. I mean, I knew Jesus knew it was bullshit, but like I appreciated the gesture. I thought it showed largeness on Judas's part. And the thing of it was, Judas was a dick, but he wasn't shallow or petty. He really was pretty large. I mean, Jesus liked him. He was in the top 3 with Mary Magdalene and Peter, who could also be a dick sometimes too. Okay, the thing with Peter is just don't talk about fish. This guy's crazy for fish. You say something wrong about a fish, you're done. Forget about it. Anyways, some people say Judas did what he did because he was greedy. Personally, I think that's bullshit. Judas wasn't walking around the desert with Jesus and a bunch of ragamuffins like us because he was looking to get rich. Other people say the devil got to him. Again, bullshit. The guy was loyal to a fault, like obsessively loyal even. Judas would have taken on the devil and his entire army, 1 against 1,000 if he had to, and he would have done it with relish. And other people say, Judas, he knew the ship was sinking. He's just trying to get himself something to fall back on. Listen, Judas was not a fallback guy. He was 100% fall forward. And to me, that deserves some consideration. I was not fall forward. Not by a long shot. You know, neither are most of the others. Judas was a dick, but he deserved better. Just one saint's opinion.
Next witness.
Your Honor, at this time, defense would like to introduce Exhibit A14, ancient surveillance footage of an event that occurred less than 24 hours after Jesus' arrest. Lights, please.
Pilot gonna kick your ass!
Pilot gonna see that ass? You gonna kick it 2 times!
No, when Pilot see this motherfucker's ass, he gonna be like Centurion, it's time to whoop ass.
He's gonna rape your wife!
He gonna take your cattle!
He gonna kick your cattle's ass too.
And your sheep! And your lambs!
Pilot gonna catch your grandmother's with check breed!
What's all this damn ruckus about?
Oh,
Hail, Pontius Pilate! Hail, hail, hail! Is there a problem here?
Judas is trying to recant.
Hold on a minute. Who?
Judas Iscariot from the Jesus of Nazareth crew.
Jesus is an innocent man. Please.
Should we start whooping his ass now?
He's innocent! Please.
sandhead sons paid you 30 pieces of silver. Now that's 4 months' wages. That ain't no chicken feed.
I made a mistake. You don't understand. Please.
I
Please.
understand perfectly. You sold out your brother. Now you trying to come up in here talking about it was dark. I kissed the wrong motherfucker. Well, we Romans, man. Romans don't dance, that's all.
I'm recanting.
You can't recant! Hey, fellas. Remember the last Semite strolled up in here talking about I recant? Believe me, J. Cruz, you don't want to do that. What you need to do is relax, brother. Take the wifey to a puppet show, something. This ain't nothing but a little PR opportunity before the holidays, that's all.
But he's innocent. Please.
Hey, now, Judas. We don't give no good goddamn about this Jesus fella. He just a motherfucker talks a lot of shit. Everybody talks a lot of shit. Hell, even I've been known to talk a little shit on him once in a while. Thing is, we ain't looking to lay down no heavy charge on this Nazareth boy. We just gonna beat down his ass a little. Make them sandheads your cause it's happy so we can all live in peace. I mean, don't you want to live in peace, Judas? Ain't that what it's all about?
Yeah.
Okay then, brother. I mean, after all, it ain't like we're looking to crucify the motherfucker.
Defense calls Pontius Pilate.
I object!
On what grounds?
On the grounds that it is objectionable. But, Your Honor, really, it is objectionable. I sense it, but I cannot put it into words.
Overruled.
I plunge to obey you, yes.
Name
Pontius Pilate.
Pontius Pilate.
That's right, baby.
But are you a licensed pilot?
Pontius Pilate. Judas Iscariot came down to your
On the
tent.
advice of
to
counsel, I cite my right to plead the Fifth Amendment.
But you then told Judas Iscariot that Jesus was
On
only
the
going to
advice
receive a
of
beatdown.
counsel,
Isn't
I
that
cite
correct?
my right to plead
You
the
bear
Fifth Amendment.
responsibility for the death of Jesus
On
Christ.
the advice of
not Judas
counsel,
Iscariot.
blah, blah, blah. Your Honor, I got a 2 p.m. tea time. Can I go now?
Won't take long, Pontius.
Judas came to your office and begged you on bended knee to take the money and release Jesus, and you refused him. Judas recanted. He tried to return the money first to the Sanhedrin and then to you. Do you deny that?
Hey, if I'd messed up as bad as that cat had, I would have tried to rebate them ducats.
So you admit that Judas did try?
No, I do not admit that he tried. Did you hear me admit that?
We all know what happened, Pilate. We just saw the tape.
Ain't nothing on that so-called tape implicates me of anything but trying to find a peacefully, non-lethal solution to a potentially incendiary problem.
Right. Mr. Pilate, you were the 5th prefect of Judea, correct?
Correct.
A prefect being what?
Governor, also known as procurator. My official title was hegemon.
Hegemon?
Translated from the Greek, it means excellency.
I see. And you governed or procurated over Judea from 26 to 36 AD, correct?
Longest 10 years of my life.
Why do you say that?
You ever been to Judea, Missy? It ain't Paris, France, believe that.
I see.
Yeah, that Moses must have read the map backwards. Misplaced his bifocal something, because if that was the promised land, shit, them Jews should have held out for a better promise.
You didn't care for Judea much?
Care for it? Armpit of the empire, yes. No atmosphere, nothing. Hot, dirty, dusty, flies everywhere, complete lack of culture and amusement. I'd have rather spend 10 years up inside the crack of my ass. But Augustus ordered me to keep the peace, so I obeyed my emperor and did my duty.
And kept the peace?
The Pax Romana, baby, the prime directive, that's right.
And under your rule, Mr. Pilate, how was the peace kept in Judea?
By any means necessary.
Violently?
Violently or otherwise, they was free to have it any ways they wanted.
According to Philo of Alexandria, who wrote about you in 41 CE, your tenure as governor of Rome was known for its constantly repeated executions without trial, wanton injustices, graft, and ceaseless and grievous cruelty. Care to comment?
No, I do not.
During your reign as procurator in Jerusalem, how many deaths did you order?
A lot. Don't apologize for it either. Them Jews was rowdy.
Rowdy?
Yes, rowdy. As in not docile. As in a motherfucker had to put his foot down of my predecessor, that's for damn sure. Man would crucify a semi-fail and fire the barbecue. Man would go buck wild from jump. Me, I reduced crucifixions in Palestine by 70%. Now that's documented.
Well, that's lovely, Mr. Pilate, but I'll direct you now to answer the question posed to you.
Which was what?
How many crucifixions did you preside over during your time in Jerusalem?
I'd say few hundred, give or take, so what?
Over 700 crucifixions while you were on assignment in Judea. Does that sound about right?
Sound good to me, sure.
And you publicly washed your hands of how many of them, Mr. Pilate?
I don't know what you mean by that.
I mean that, other than Jesus of Nazareth, out of over 700 crucifixions and countless executions, did you ever, in any other instance, publicly wash your hands and attempt to abdicate responsibility for your actions, Mr. Pilate?
I don't recall.
You backpedaled because you knew it was wrong, didn't you?
Romans don't have backpedals.
You knew Jesus was either a holy man or a fool, but whatever he was, you believed him when he said his kingdom wasn't on earth, didn't you?
See now, I don't recall that conversation.
You don't recall that conversation. You know what, Mr. Pilate? Why don't you say that again so I can slap a perjury charge on you? You ordered the death of Christ. You and you alone. And then you pawned it off on Jesus' reticence and Judas's impetuousness and the politics of the Sanhedrin and the rowdiness of the Jewish people. Is that not the case, Pontius Pilate? Yes or no?
You can go on squawking if you want to. My conscience is clean. What you need to do is take it up with them Jews.
Mr. Pilate, were the high priest of Jerusalem authorized to order a death sentence?
No, they were not.
Was King Herod authorized to issue a death sentence?
No, he was not.
How about the Jewish people themselves? Were they free to issue death penalties at their whim and fancy?
No.
One man, Mr. Pilate, in all of Judea, one man alone had the authority to put another man to death. Who was that man, Mr. Pilate?
Am I on trial here? Because last time I checked, it was your client, Judas Iscariot, freezing his narrow ass off in the ninth circle of hell, not me.
My client recanted with a remorseful heart and was ignored.
And you need to take that up with them Jews, not me. I mean, this ain't some new theory I'm introducing to you. It's documented. Ain't no Nancy Drew Sherlock Holmes mystery here. Them Jews was cantankerous, ornery. They worshipped a jealous, angry, and vengeful God, and guess what? Surprise, surprise. They was jealous, angry, and vengeful themselves. I ain't never had a problem in Judea. It wasn't caused by some rabble-rouser, no-account Jew. Believe me, sister, you need to talk to them, not me.
It's always the Jews, Mr. Pilate, isn't it?
Well, it sure as shit was in Judea, missy.
You want to know what I really think, Mr. Pilate? I think this whole story about you hemming and hawing about what to do with Jesus is just a load of made-up crap written by Jewish Christian evangelists seeking to broaden the appeal of the Jesus story to the Roman Empire. There is nothing we know about you, Mr. Pilate, absolutely nothing, that suggests for even a second that you would have even a passing hesitation about putting any Jew to death, let alone a revolutionary figure like Jesus, who is being proclaimed the Messiah, who had entered the city of Jerusalem to crowds of cheering supporters, and who the very next day had incited a riot at the temple. You hated your assignment. You hated Judea. And Mr. Pilate, you hated Jews. Hated them. You hated the Jews because they contested you. You hated the Jews because they fought back. You hated the Jews because they clung to their religious beliefs and were willing to die for them. But most of all, I think you hated them because you knew they were stronger than you. I think that bothered you a great deal. I think, Mr. Pilate, that it made you resentful and vengeful and furious. I think it made you feel small and inadequate. I think it gave you skin irritations and nervous tics. I think it kept you up nights and made you count the days until you could return to the safe bourgeois comfort of Rome. That's what I think. I think that you are hiding behind historical inaccuracies and outright lies, Mr. Pilate. I think that you are a liar and a fraud. I think that when Jesus was put before you, you did not see a god or a prophet. You did not see a lunatic or an innocent. You didn't even see a human being. I think what you saw that morning was just one more Jew, and you didn't hesitate. Why would you? You didn't wash your hands, Pontius Pilate. History did it for you. Isn't that true?
I think I've had enough here.
If you were a man, Pilate, you would own up to the truth.
The truth? Whose truth you talking about, Red? The truth is I was named a saint in the Ethiopian church. The truth is I was named a martyr in the Christian church in 348 AD. That's the damn truth.
A Christian martyr.
Did I stutter, girlie? what's a lie and what's the truth. What you know about my history? All Jews got to go on is some book written 4 different ways by 4 different Jews wasn't even there in the first place. And what you know about my life after Palestine? What you know about what I might have did or didn't do after I got back home to the motherland? That's right. You don't know jack, do you? They didn't write down that part of the story, did they? Shit, I'm gonna tell you what. You and your presumptuous nature reminds me more and more of my ex-wife, Rhonda. Every minute. And believe me, that ain't no compliment. Yeah. I met that Jesus boy. Seemed like a fine fella. He dressed like a hobo and smelled like a goat, but give the boy a shave or a shower, he would have been basically all right. Let me tell you something else. You know, like Judas, that Nazarene boy had character. He didn't come up on me begging and groveling, crying like a bitch. He approached me like a man, like a Roman almost, and that impressed me. I was willing to just have him be clubbed in his head for a few hours, redirect his youthful energies. But them Jews, no, them Jews wasn't having none of that. You can say what you want to, think what you want to, but them Jews wasn't going to be happy until that boy was served up for lunch like chicken in a skillet. And they had the numbers on us that weekend. 200,000 strong converging on our city for their high holidays and ready to rumble at the drop. I did what I had to do to preserve the damn peace. Why? Because that was my damn job. I did my job. I did my damn job, and now you want to call me a liar? Question my veracity and my character? I am a Roman, lady. 100%, 24/7, we never close. Underneath my ball sack is stamped Veritas, and that means truth. And that means that my honor is defined by my integrity. And my integrity is defined by my truth. And I defy you here and now to produce one shred of evidence to support your wild and defamatory claims. Shit, you better check the resume 2 times before you try to sweep your dirt under a Roman's rug. I'm clean like a dove and ready for love. I live in heaven. Where you live at, girlfriend? Shit, I tell you what, though. Give me a call sometime if you want to. I'll take you down to the aqueduct for a pizza and a tussle. Show you my tattoos. Any more questions?
I think, Mr. Pilot, that you've told us all we need to know.
All right, I'm gonna roll out now, boo. Work on my short game.
Witnesses excused.
Hail Caesar, baby.
Your Excellency, Hedge, just one question, if I may.
What's that?
Yes, well, good Sir Hedge, would you please tell the court, when Judas came to your tent to recant, and I am not saying that he did, because by the way, the only gospel that says anything about Judas recanting is Matthew, so it's 3 against 1 on that front, and the one in question was not only a Greek, but a drunk and a card cheat. But anyway, good Sir Hedge, if Judas came to allegedly recant, and I am not seeking confirmation herewith, however, if by chance the gin-soaked Greek did manage to get it right, and Judas did attempt to return the tarnished silver, and this is very important, did you get the sense and the impression that Judas was recanting out of a genuine remorse and concern for Jesus, or do you think that he sought to undo the damage out of a neck-saving fear of the divine consequences and everlasting repercussions for betraying our righteous and just Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ, the divine Son of Man?
I am a man, and defense counsel may dispute this, who knows a little something about remorse, personal and otherwise. In my day, I've stared into the eyes of perhaps 10,000 accused men and sat in judgment of them. I spared a few, executed plenty. I sent people to face the whip, the cell, the gallows, and the cross. I sent a few home as well. Remorse is rare, but when you see it, it is unmistakable. Judas Iscariot, he had no remorse. His fear left no room for it. His fear was 100% ego-driven and self-serving. 100% panic, 0% remorse. If you believe nothing else, believe that.
Thank you, good Sir Hedge. Thank you indeed.
in now. Hey, let's go fetch him. Go fetch Satan.
Alone?
Let's go. Ah, Lou, have a seat.
I want to file a formal fucking complaint, Frank.
This isn't about the turkey roll in the cafeteria again now.
No,
is it,
this is not about the goddamn turkey roll in the cafeteria. What this is about, Frank, is I recognize two of your court officers at the vending machines. Ask me how I recognize them, Frank.
Lou.
No, don't you fucking Lou me, you little fag! God has been stealing souls again, hasn't he?
Al-Fayoubi, escort the jury out.
Yes, absolutely. Right this way, please.
And you, Honeywell! You're on my fucking list, Casey. So don't expect any last-second reprieves. Shorts and tank top stretch. Act light.
This is unacceptable behavior, Lou.
Don't tell me what's unacceptable. Those two court officers were mine, Frank! Their souls in hell, safe and secure. What, I don't got enough to contend with? Now I gotta deal with God, cruise in the barnyards of hell, poaching condemned poultry like some kind of silver foxtail thief in the fucking night? This is bullshit, Frank, and you know it. And I'm not leaving here this time without my satisfaction. So you better do something about it right fucking now.
You're doing something like what?
Number one, I'm not testifying at any of these circle jerks no more. I'm not some wind-up doll to be summoned and dismissed like a fucking toy. Number two, I want 2 souls before I leave here today. So take a memo, pass it on upstairs. I'll take you and whoever.
Me?
Yeah, you. I should have claimed your ass off the dung heap after Lee's surrender. And on some Darwin. A tall burden. Neat. What the fuck are you looking at?
I'd like to start my questioning.
Why, you got someplace you gotta be, dish rag?
No, when you're done crying, just let me know.
I'm sorry. Maybe you can clear this up for me, but is today fuck with someone who can rip your heart out through your miserable dried up cunt day? Is that what today is? Cause unless I'm mistaken, today is not that fucking day.
Today is your day to answer my questions. When you're through behaving like a petulant child,
Cunningham! Cunningham, I am directing you to hit the off switch on them flapping gums of yours until further notice. And you, Lou, with all due respect to your stature and station, could you cut me a break here, please?
Frank, I've always been good to you.
And I to you, is that not so? Now listen, your complaint is duly noted and it'll be kicked upstairs at the conclusion of today's testimony, okay? Now I need to call the damn jury back in here. And what I need to know from the both of you is that when I move to do so, that you two will conduct yourselves with a deportment in adjustment to the solemnity of these proceedings. Now, can I have your words on that?
I'm ready to proceed, Your Honor,
With civility?
if I'm met with civility.
You know what, Cunningham? All those excuses you got wedged between that devious cleavage of yours, your mother, the bulimia, the herpes, the booze, the abortions, the rape, the bipolar pharmaceutical adventures, the twin suicide attempts, and the abject failures at every relationship you ever attempted. All those things do nothing to band-aid the simple fact that there comes a time when the world stops rewarding potential. And when that day came for you, you threw yourself the world's biggest pity party and devoted the rest of your short, pathetic, inconsequential life to finding fault everywhere fucking else, but in the return gaze of your own cosmetically altered reflection, okay?
Satan! You are perhaps out of bounds here?
Al-Fayoubi, on a good day, your cock measures 3.5 inches, all right, and it goes off on a hair trigger if you so much as sneeze. Worse than that, you're a flatterer, and your love of God is utterly false, as is your hair color. And the sole reason you're so hot for this nasty train wreck over here is because you're addicted to tragedy and punishment. Not because you think you're a piece of shit self-diagnosis is correct. You're a bag of hot air and a weakling, and you will never, ever be loved. You'll never be loved either, Cunningham, but that's because you're incapable of giving. But you already knew that about yourself, didn't you? You can call the jury in now, Frank. Never let it be said that the Prince of Lies stood in the way of truth.
No more outbursts.
I'm a Buddha floating on a lily pad.
Al-Fayumi, bring him on in.
Yes. Right this way, please. Do not tarry.
Counselor, you may begin.
Mr. Satan.
I apologize for my earlier behavior, Counselor. I had some bad fish at lunch.
Mr. Satan, you've had a long-standing feud with God, correct?
No, I love God.
You love God?
Oh, very much. God made me.
Okay, you say God made you.
God did make me. It says so in the Bible.
I know about the Bible, Mr. Satan. It also says in the Bible, in Matthew, I believe it says that a good tree cannot bear bad fruit, correct?
Correct.
So are you saying that you are good, or are you saying that God is bad?
Oh, I would never say that God is bad.
So are you telling this court that you are good?
I don't know. Are you good, Counselor?
That's not what I asked you.
I'm sorry.
Just answer the question.
I don't believe in good and bad. What I believe in is truth.
Fine. According to Job and Nehemiah, God created you within the first 3 days. True?
True.
You were an angel.
True.
You were present when God created earth.
True.
And then God created man and gave him, not you, dominion over the earth. True?
True.
You were in fact ordered by God to serve man. True?
True.
According to Genesis and Ezekiel, you then tempted Eve to eat the apple in order to prove to God that he had made an error in giving man dominion over the earth. At which point, according to Luke, you then fell from heaven like lightning and became God's adversary. And ever since that day, you have competed for souls with God to try to prove the point that man is not worthy to rule over the earth. Isn't that true, Mr. Satan?
I don't compete with God. God competes with himself.
That's not what I asked you.
I'm trying to answer your question.
No, you are not trying to answer my question.
Your Honor, I'm trying to form a response here.
Let him answer, Cunningham.
Your Honor, it does seem to me.
Quiet. Proceed.
Thank you. Look, I didn't make you people, God did, okay? But there was a design flaw in the creation. He gave you free will. And to balance that out, you were designed to self-correct. But unlike the free will muscle, the self-correct muscle is not a particular favorite of the Homo sapiens. I'd say self-correct falls somewhere between colonoscopy and firing squad on most people's holiday wish lists. At any rate, the truth is, I don't have to actively compete for human souls. I don't have to lull or flatter or tempt or deceive, because with God at the helm and you people running around wreaking havoc, I'll be honest, I spend most of my time on a sofa watching 1-hour dramas on HBO.
And what, getting tossed out of heaven, that didn't bother you at all?
There's a concept, Cunningham, called playing the cards you are dealt. One can either accept that concept, or one can slowly lose one's heart, mind, and soul. I'd like to be more helpful to you here, but really that's what this all boils down to.
Is that so?
I'm just a fallen angel trying to keep my dick hard in a monotheistic society. Anything else you want to ask?
Your Honor, this witness is clearly lying. I move his entire testimony be struck from the record.
I'll not allow that. I'm sorry. You conjured him. What comes out of his mouth is your responsibility.
But he's obviously lying.
Oh, you ought to expand your consciousness, Counselor.
Your Honor!
Unless you have another question, Cunningham, I suggest you step down.
But
Forward or back? You've been instructed. Now what'll it be?
why do you love God, Mr. Satan?
What's not to love?
Specifically, Mr. Satan, what specifically do you love about God?
I wouldn't know where to begin.
Pick a spot.
I love God because he is all-powerful and all-forgiving. I love God because his justice is perfect. I love God because God loves me.
God loves you.
Oh, very much. Gift basket at Christmas. Hallmark greetings on all the major holidays.
Stop. If God loves you, then why did he says in the Bible.
Yeah, you're right. They fudged that part, but that's because you people only respond to fear and threat. If they told you straight up that there was no lock to the gates of heaven, you'd have no incentive at all to even try to be halfway decent.
In other words, God lied.
God didn't write the Bible. You know that, right?
Of course I know that.
Then why would you say that God lied?
Mr. Satan, does God love Judas Iscariot, yes or no?
God loves everybody.
And yet Judas is in hell. So what use is God's love to Judas if my client is allowed to languish in damnation?
Your client's free to leave whenever he wants to. In fact, I wish he would. I could use the room.
That's not true, and you know it.
Look, maybe you should sit down and catch it.
The real truth is that God's love for us is conditional, isn't it? You failed to meet God's conditions, and he threw you in the trash. Judas failed, and he's in a catatonic stupor.
Your client succumbed to despair.
Yes, and if human despair is so powerful as to render God powerless over it, then what does that say about God? It says one of two things, Mr. Satan. Either God is not all-powerful and therefore useless, or God's love is conditional, which renders that love false and unworthy. Which one is it?
Cunningham, please don't take this personally, but your father never really loved or wanted you, right? And the only reason that your mother didn't abort you was because she was afraid of scarring. I think she told you that once, didn't she?
Mr. Satan!
Just because your parents resented you doesn't mean that God does.
Mr. Satan, I asked you a direct question, and I am demanding from you a direct answer!
The direct answer is that you are completely wrong!
Is God powerless or spiteful? I am demanding you answer!
You are powerless and spiteful, Cunningham, not God.
Your Honor, he's not answering!
What do you want me to do about
But he's
it?
not answering!
Open your heart to God, Cunningham.
Shut up, Your Honor!
I suggest you step down, Cunningham.
But I'm not finished!
Then finish.
But Your Honor, this isn't fair!
It is what it is, Cunningham.
Your Honor!
Cunningham.
Your Honor!
What, Cunningham? What?
You're a fucking liar!
I'm truly sorry you feel that way.
Nothing further.
Help by you. Cross.
No cross. No.
You're excused.
Thanks, Frank. Counselors, you availed yourselves as expected. And, by the way, Fayumi, you're completely wrong, too. I'll be in touch.
Next witness.
Right now, I'm in Fallujah. I'm in an El Salvadoran prison. I'm on 63rd and Park, having dinner with Ellen Barkin and Ron Perlman. I'm on Lafayette and Astor, waiting to hit you up for a change so I can get high. I'm taking a stroll through the Rose Garden with Donald Trump. I'm helping Elon Musk get a good night's sleep. I was in that cave with Osama, and on that plane with Muhammad Atta. And what I want you to know is that your work has barely begun. And what I want you to trust is the efficacy of divine love if practiced consciously. And what I need you to believe is that if you hate who I love, you do not know me at all. And make no mistake, who I love is every last one. I am every last one. People always ask of me, where are you? Where are you? Verily, I ask you to ask yourself, where are you? Where are you? Judas? Judas, who's that? Is it ever anybody else, Judas? I miss you.
Uh-huh.
I miss miss you, Judas. Don't fucking touch me, Judas. I said take your fucking hands off me. Take them off. I'm sorry. Just back off my grill, man. I'm sorry. Back off. Back off more. I'm sorry. Judas, if 1,000 strangers spit on me and kick me as they pass, I will smile. But if the brother of my heart gives me only a passing hard glance, then Judas, I will not sleep that night, nor at all, until he will let me love him again. No. No what? No more fucking fortune cookies, that's what. You want to say something? I can't stop you. You want to apologize? Fine. Apologize and go. Just for once. Speak like a normal fucking person. I'm not a normal person, Judas. And I'm not here to apologize. I am who I am and not what you demand me to be. I will always be who I am and what I am. And when have you ever heard me deliver my message any differently, Judas? When? Just go away. I won't go away. Well, that would be a first. I have never gone away, Judas. Look at me. I love you. And all I want, is not just to be near you, but to be with you. Should have thought of that before. For what? Just get the fuck out of here, okay? Judas, don't Judas me. You're not wanted here, okay? Mr. Fucking above it all. I'm not above it all. I'm right here, in it. Don't you see that? Don't you get that? I don't fucking care. You think your suffering's a one-way street. It's not. It's the exact opposite of not. You've got a lot of fucking nerve. And you've got no nerve at all. Where's your heart in all this, Judas? Do you think you were with me for any reason other than that? It was your heart. You were all heart. You were my heart. Don't you know that? I'll tell you what I know. I watched you trip over your own dusty feet to heal the sick, the blind, the lame, the unclean. Any two-bit stranger stubbed his fucking toe. When some lowly, distant relative, too cheap to buy enough wine for his own fucking wedding, suddenly runs out of booze, you just presto changeo. It was fucking Miller time in Old Canaan again, wasn't it, bro? But when I fucking needed you, where the fuck were you, huh? You forgave Peter and bullshit Thomas. You knocked Paul of Tarsus off a horse. You raised Lazarus from the fucking dead. But me, your heart, what about me, Jesus? You just, I made a mistake. And if that was wrong, you should have told me. And if a broken heart wasn't sufficient enough reason to hang, you should have told me that too. Don't you think that if I would have known it would have changed your mind, that I would have? All I know is that you broke me unfixably. And that I'm here. And you want to know when you delivered your message differently? At the temple, Jesus. And you were beautiful there. And you left it 3 inches taller, and we all saw it. I loved you. That's all I did. And that's the truth. And now I'm here. Judas, what if I were to tell you you're not here? That you are with me in my kingdom even now. And you have been since the morning of my ascension, and that you've never left. That's what I think of you. I love you, Judas. I love you. Just stop. Don't you see me here? I see a lot of things. You see a lot of things. That's right. What about him? Do you see him? Do you know him? Call unto him. Touch him. He's not there, because he does not exist. Rather, they must conjure him, and even then, he's but a vapor, blown away by a hummingbird's breath. He's false. He's a lie. He's not real. Go ahead, touch him. I don't want to touch him. Stand up, Jesus. You know I can't do that. What I know is that you can. Get the fuck over yourself. Will you feed my lambs, Judas? Will you take care of my little sheep? Will you feed my lambs? Feed your lambs. You know exactly what I'm asking you. Go away. Judas, if you don't love me, you're going to have to look me in the eye and say it. I don't love you. If you don't love me, why are you here? Go. Judas. Judas, don't you know what would happen the very instant you got on your knees? Why on my knees? Yeah, they should have buried me standing up, because I've been on my knees my whole life. You left me. I'm here! I would have never believed you could have left me. I've never left you. You didn't love me. I do love you. Why? Why didn't you make me good enough so that you could have loved me? Please, Judas. Take my hand, please. Where are they? Right here. I can't see them. They're right here. Where are you going? I'm here. No, I'm right here. I can't hurt. I love you, Judas. I can't. Please stay. I
just wanted to introduce myself, if I could. I'm Butch Honeywell, and I was the foreman of the jury trial there, and, well, we found you guilty, Mr. Iscariot. I'm really sorry about that. Oh, I brought you a 12-pack of beer. Actually, it's a 5-pack now. Anyway, here. I don't know if you drink beer. It's good stuff. All right, I'm just going to set it right down, right beside you here. Okay. So I think I'm dead, Mr. Iscariot, and I'm a little concerned about that, because I don't think my soul's ready for judgment yet. So far, no one's corroborated that I'm dead, so I don't bring it up. If this is a dream, this is the longest damn dream I have ever endured. And really, I just miss my wife, Mr. Iscariot. Is it okay if I tell you that? You know, I remember I was with these two girls that night I first seen my wife, Mr. Iscariot. It was a party over at Jimmy Rayburn's house. Jimmy's mama worked until midnight, and he had the whole house to himself. And anyway, I was at this party with two girls, Susie Heller and Della Mae Robbins, and we were just talking and smoking cigarettes out on Miss Rayburn's deck away from the party. I was depressed over something or other. It was probably because school was ending. Plus, I'd just been in the school play. I played Tom in the Glass Menagerie. It was the first time I'd ever acted. Everybody said I was real good, but, you know, now the play was over and school was almost over. You know, for my part of the play, they gave me this real short haircut, like 1940 style, you know? And my ears, Mr. Iscariot, I don't know if you can notice, but they stick out quite a bit. And, well, with the short haircut and all, I was feeling self-conscious and dumb and just anyway, not too cheery. Well, I'm talking to Susie and Dell, and all of a sudden, inside at the party, I see this girl. She had just arrived, I guess. She was wearing a red jacket. It was a cheerleading jacket from the high school right across the state line in Virginia. The Red Raiders. And I remember all I saw was blonde hair, that red jacket, and a smile that was, you know, even from a distance, just kind of electrifying to the heart. Well, about a minute later, the slide door to the deck opens. That girl walks out. She's coming straight towards us. Turns out she knew Della from back in the day, you know, Girl Scouts brownies, something like that. Anyway, she's walking over. She is so beautiful. And I remember thinking to myself, this is exactly what I thought, word for word. I ain't even going to bother trying to talk to this girl. So she walks up, she says hello. I just excuse myself right off the deck, fixing to go back inside, say my goodbyes, and skedaddle. I go inside, I'm trying to leave. Jimmy hands me a beer, and somebody started passing around a bottle of Rebel Yell, and, you know, before you know it, bong hits and whatnot. Anyway, a little while later, I'm sitting on the couch, and this girl, my future wife, she walks right up by herself. She says, I saw you in that play the other night. You made me cry. Well, 2 days later, we went out on a date. On the way back, I was driving her home. We passed by this house where my friend Dave Hogue, who had died, used to live. I hadn't been by his house since he passed, and his family didn't live there no more, but when I saw the house, I was struck with this feeling. And I asked her if she wouldn't mind if we just pulled up and just sat for a little while in the car. She said sure. So I parked the car in front, and we sat there for a good long while. Quiet. Not saying nothing. And then before I knew it, I started tearing up, Mr. Iscariot. You know, because this kid, he had been a real good friend of mine. And then I just started crying. And I couldn't help myself, and I couldn't hold it back. And I mean, I was real embarrassed. And she just held me while tears and snot and whatnot just poured out of me all over her little white sweater. She didn't even mind. She didn't mind at all. Well, at some point, I finally drove her home, and you know, we walked up to her front door, and we started to kiss. God, it was like, I tell you, it was like peaches and dynamite, you know? 3 years later, I took a job teaching at the state college. I I was real popular with the students because I always found a way to make them want to learn. One night at the end of the semester, they took me out for beers, and I ended up having an assignation with one of the co-eds. It was a young lady named Lucy. That night, I got into bed next to my wife, drunk as a skunk. Before I passed out, I was looking at her. I always liked to look at her when she was sleeping because she always looked so good. Had a little nickname for her. I called her my little baby dinosaur. That's how she looked when she slept, like one of the little cartoon dinosaurs, like a little brontosaurus, but cute, you know? Well, the next morning I woke up. She was still sleeping. And what I had done the night before came back to me. And I looked at my wife. And boy, she looked exactly the same as always. Except she wasn't my little baby dinosaur. No more, you know? A little while later, she woke up. She didn't know nothing about nothing. And everything was exactly the same as if the night before had never happened. But it had happened, and I knew it. I had no idea why I had done what I had done, but I had done it, and it couldn't be changed. My girl, she got up, she fixed blueberry French toast with maple walnut pecans. I couldn't eat it. There was no way that I could have eaten it. I tried a lot of things to make it better. The only things that did were more beer and women. You know who W.H. Auden was, Mr. Iscariot? W.H. Auden was a poet who once said, "God may reduce you on Judgment Day to tears of shame, reciting by heart the poems you would have written had your life been good." She was my poem, Mr. Iscariot. Her and the kids, but mostly her. You cashed in silver, Mr. Iscariot. With me, I threw away gold. That's a fact. That's a natural fact.